All right. Welcome once again to the Behind the Agent podcast. We're going to have a great episode today. I'm your host, Frank Ray. I'm here with a brand new friend who I think is absolutely epic already. That would be Bethany Mendoza. Bethany Mendoza, how are you doing today? Good to have you here on the podcast. Can't wait to get started and talk about you and what's going on. I know you're going to give us some great information to a bunch of fellow realtors out there that might not be doing the level of business that you're doing these days. So we just love to pick your brain, rattle your head around and see what falls out. You know, then hopefully we can use it. So let's go ahead and get started. So Bethany Mendoza, you are at PMZ Real Estate. Your home base is Modesto, California. However, of course, you cover a broad area up and down the corridor there. Let's see, been in the business 21 and a half years or so. So, you know, you're a seasoned professional. You've seen a lot of things in the industry, right? Let's talk about the stats, though. Here you go, guys. This is pretty big stuff. And she's a little disappointed. This year's actually a little slow, but I asked her how's biz. She's like, well, I'm only about 10 million this year. So it's kind of, I'm like, whatever. People would want to be that for a whole year. No problem. But 61 transactions for about 25.5 million over the past 12 months. We're shooting this on almost the last day of July, 2024 to give everybody perspective on the market where we're at. So they know. Wonderful stats. I mean, that's great. I'm gonna give you a big cheer. Good stuff. I'm going to give you a king too, because that's money, honey. So great stuff. Great work. Congratulations on all of that. I think we just want to go straight to it, Bethany, if it's okay with you. 61 units over the past 12 months. Like, where the heck are these coming from? Like, being an agent who's been at it for almost 22 years to have 61, because I tell you what, there's a lot of agents that have been in this for 22 years and aren't doing 61, right? So, but you are 61 transactions in the past 12 months. Where's it coming from for you? Where's this business come from?
Sure. So we do a lot of online leads. So you really have to be signed up with everything. So we do Modesto, we do Ojo, Agent Finder, Fast Expert, Rocket Mortgage, Mellow Home Loans, Redfin, HomeLight, you name it. I do not do the Zillow leads because I have to pay for those. And I tried it and I didn't really convert off them. I felt like there was a lot of leads that weren't great leads. Other people might have other experiences, but I prefer to pay if I close. And so definitely you have to be on those online platforms. Definitely keep in touch with your database. That's your gold mine. So, I mean, I started that 22 years ago before anybody was doing it. I was sending out birthday cards and wedding anniversary cards and kids' birthday cards, purchase anniversary cards. And so that is something I have done consistently over the last 21 and a half years. In fact, I have a house listed right now who was one of my very first clients. And again, 21 and a half years ago.
No
right?
kidding. That's crazy.
I got my Christmas card every year. Yes.
Can I just pick your brain a little bit here? So of course, Zillow, yeah, you pay, right? You said you rattled off several of them, and these are more of the you pay if you close kind of a relationship. That's what they are. But you're on a lot of platforms. So you're on many of them. Yeah. Do you mind rattling those off again a little slower? Just
Sure.
so that people can kind of go, I didn't know about that. What is she talking about here? Maybe and kind of dig into that. Yeah. What do you got there?
So Fast Expert,
Fast Expert,
Agent Finder.
Agent Finder. No kidding.
Yep. Homes.com. That's a big one.
Okay.
Rocket Mortgage.
No kidding. Rocket does it too.
Yes, so they'll qualify people, and then you're like their preferred agent.
Got it.
Obviously, Redfin.
Movado, you said, or something? Movodo, yeah.
Movodo just got bought. So that was Ojo, and they just got bought out by Movodo.
Okay.
Obviously Redfin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just curious about these types of relationships when you're paying if you close. And is it a different, like, do they have different, referral fee, quote unquote, referral fees for different agents kind of a thing? Does it all depend on you and your production, or is it based on the price, or how does that flow?
It's different every platform. So
okay.
Redfin is according to like the price range, right?
Okay.
It's tier. Some of them are just like across the board is 25%, or across the board is 35%.
Got it. Yeah.
So it depends on the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. So in your book of business and where it's coming from now, we'll call those online call that, you said online leads, we'll call those online leads. What percentage do you think comes from that versus from your past clients or referrals from your past clients? Like, I know you don't have an exact number, but if you were to guess, with,
I would say like last year, and the years previous, it was probably a good 65%.
okay.
And this year, it doesn't feel like as much. It feels more like 35%.
Okay.
And a lot of it is past clients this year.
Okay. So past clients, are these past clients moving up, moving out of the state? What are they doing? Because there's a lot of moving out, isn't there?
A lot of moving out, a lot of people moving out. I also work with several attorneys. And so I always have like probate business, conservatorship business, that kind of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So I do a lot of probates,
Can
which
I
is
ask
kind
you
of,
real? I hate to keep interrupting you, but I know if people are listening, going, "How'd you get that? Well, what do you mean? Like, so
okay.
how do you manage? You said you work with some attorneys. I mean, is this just years of
Can
being
I
in the
tell a
biz?
story? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a client. We sold the house, and her mom ended up in hospice in the middle of escrow.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
and she got very ill, and so the attorney had they had like a senior advocacy group, and so they prepared a free will for her, and she said call her. So I called up the attorney late at night, and I said, hey, you prepared a will for my client. Now her mom's in hospice. We're in the middle of escrow. The buyers are pregnant with a baby due. What do we do? We're supposed to close. She can no longer sign anything. Like she's going to pass away.
Wow.
And she's like, okay, we can do this. This is what you need to do. So I went down to the attorney's office, held my client's hand, helped her through it, went out to hospice as her mom was passing away again, was there through every step of the way for this crappy little $50,000 house in a bad neighborhood, right? And that attorney was so impressed with me that she just started referring me business. And so it goes
No.
back to that sow good seeds, right? It doesn't matter if it's $50,000 or it's $5 million. You're helping people. And so just have empathy and be there for them. And those roots can grow deep, right? And so that has turned into a 12+ year relationship where now her paralegal has referred me people. I've been looked up by other attorneys that know that I do this type of work. And so I actually just got called by the county administrator the other day who's interested in starting to use me for his probates. And so I felt very blessed by that. And that all started from that $50,000 house.
Wow. That's a cool story.
Yeah,
That's interesting. You just never know.
you never know.
You just never know. Just work hard, take care of people, do a good job, regardless of that circumstance, whatever the price is or whatever. And you just never know what comes out of it, do you?
No, and I've learned so much. So like when I'm with them, I just like being a fly on the wall. Like I'm watching Perry Mason, like
Yeah.
so intriguing. And I've learned so much about probates and how they work. And I feel very, very honored and blessed for that relationship.
Wow. And that's parlayed into others. So, wow, okay. So this year, maybe 35% is coming from the onlines. We've got business coming from attorneys, right? Which, started from this unique transaction that's blossomed over the past 12 years. And you've managed to continually nurture that, obviously, along the way to make sure that continues to happen. How about referrals? You get referrals from past clients. Is that a good chunk of business or?
I do. Like they refer their children to me that are now ready to purchase. Um I got a referral from another attorney the other day. I actually got a listing off an agent that retired 15 years ago, and I've been sending him a Christmas card for 15 years. And so
Wow.
he's like, I remember you let me buy one of your bank-owned properties, and I want you to list my property.
Wow.
Like what I'm seeing this year more than ever is those Christmas cards, those birthday cards, they're paying off. Like, and I know it's like, oh my gosh, it's like 10 years later, but it doesn't matter because you're staying in their face. Like you're telling, like, who
Right.
sends birthday cards out anymore? Like nobody.
Yeah. Pretty rare.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
rare.
especially when the kids get them and they get to open them up and they get little stickers and
That's
um,
cool.
yeah, I feel like that's the personal touch, which kind of went away during COVID. And it's just being able to actually, send a card, remember them. Like, I feel like people need that. And so just keep doing that, right? Like, just taking care of people. Like, that's kind of my whole thing. It's always about the people, and then the business will follow.
Good stuff, man. Great stuff. Gosh, I wanted to ask you something else and it slipped my mind. I'm such a good host. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Forget what I was going to ask, but it'll come to me. It'll come to me. So, okay. So we've got the past clients. We've got some referrals coming in. We got the attorneys. We got the online lead stuff. Any other area that you're seeing business come through the door? Anything else? At all that you can think of?
So like we also do like renovations, and so we just finished one, so that was kind of fun. So we do flips too, and so that's kind of a little bit of money
Mm,
that helps support the kids' college and our retirement too.
mm,
So
mm.
that's kind of fun doing that on the side and being able to turn something ugly into something pretty,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do that also. Yeah.
Can I ask you something just on the side note here? PMZ Real Estate. How long have you been with them in particular?
PMZ, I've been here 15 years.
Oh, long time. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you found a home and you're there. You're good to go.
Here, I feel like, I started at Coldwell Banker.
Uh-huh.
Coldwell Banker is a wonderful company. Um, but they kind of, they want to be in control of everything. And so, I didn't really learn how to budget or do my own flyers or transaction my files. And so, I felt like they definitely hold your hand a lot. So it's a good company if like you're a new agent, you just kind of want everything done for you.
Mm.
I moved on to Keller Williams, which is extreme opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know what Keller Williams is today, but we were they're like number one agent. We did 80% of their business. They were a startup, and that's nothing to brag about. It was a startup in the Modesto area.
Mm.
So there wasn't a lot of help at all.
Mm.
There was no broker on site. You ordered your own signs, you paid for your desk, you paid file fees. You could get to 100%, but you had to, I think, gross 100,000 in income.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was extreme opposite from Colwell. You kind of had to learn it. So I think it was actually really good because we had to learn how to do profit and losses and where our money was going. We had
Mm.
to learn how to do our own flyers. We had to
So helped in the career for sure.
how to
Mm-hmm.
run a business, right? And
Yeah.
so, when I came over to PMZ, I felt like it was the perfect middle ground because
Mm.
they're not overseeing me, yet they're not governing what I choose to do and not do. And there's
Mm.
always help available.
Mm.
And since then, we've also become a corporation. And so I feel like I love the path my real estate career did because
Mm.
I was taught very well at Coldwell Banker. Then I was taught how to run my business. I was forced into it.
Yeah.
PMZ is that great middle ground where I kind of know what I'm doing now.
Yeah, you took what you learned from the other places and you're able to drop it here and it's all come together for you. You've got the corporation going now and all that kind of good stuff. Cool. I was just curious. Yeah, what the path, was for you to get
Keller
to.
Williams definitely taught you how to team build. That wasn't something, again, back in the day, Coldwell Banker they did not want you to team build. That's different
Yeah, it
nowadays.
could be completely different now. Yeah, you're not saying that's what they are or anything. Yeah, but
Um,
yeah. Good stuff. Let me ask you this real two quick ones, then I want to get to what your advice is. But 61 units, roughly seller to buyer ratio. What would you say that is?
oh, wow. Okay. I'd probably say 60/40.
On the seller side?
I do a lot of listings. Yeah.
Okay, 60/40. All right, that's good to know. Are you doing open houses?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do them?
Oh, yeah.
So good. So you get in there, you meet some peeps and
Oh,
rub
yeah.
some elbows at an open house, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
I do floor time. I do open houses. I do everything. Like, I don't stop.
You are working. You are working. Hey, let me ask you this. You did 61 in the past 12 months. If somebody's nowhere near that, maybe they're at half that. I've interviewed several agents that are about 30, 36, right? Something like that. I've interviewed agents that are doing 24, 20, 28, 61 is a good number. What advice would you give to an agent like that? Like, what would you say, if it
Keep
were,
showing
if it were
up.
you,
Yeah.
and
Keep
what's the
showing up.
best advice? What is it?
Keep showing up.
Showing up.
Keep showing up every day. You just keep showing up. Whether you have something going or you don't have something going, you show up Monday through Friday. You are in the office. I think if you're sitting at home, you're going to do the wash, or you're going to start watching the Olympics or whatever. It doesn't matter when it's slow. I always have to remind myself, everybody's slow, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to grind harder, right? You
Well,
just show
when you
up.
say grind, Bethany, what does that mean to you? What do you do? Do you call people?
Oh
What
yeah.
do you do? You don't come to the office, just sit there rather than sit at home, right? So what do you
So
do? Like, what's your day look like? You
yeah,
know?
so we have like a spreadsheet with my escrows, and so obviously I'm going to take care of anything that's pressing number one, right? Then I get into like my leads. So we do follow up boss. And so like today I have several that I need to follow up with. So I'll go through my follow up boss, I try to call them, I try to text them, I try to email them. That takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Once I get through that, obviously you're having calls come in and stuff like that too. Then I'll get back into my own database, right? And so right now I'm still working on July purchase anniversaries, and then we'll start working on August. And
What do
so
you so working on July purchase anniversaries? What does that mean to you? Working on it. What does that
I
mean?
comp out their house. And so I send them like a mapped report. I tell them happy anniversary. This is what you bought it for. This is what it's worth today. I send them a little mapped report, and I also keep
Nice.
a record of it too, because I find it very intriguing. So like I use Realty Juggler for my my CRM.
Hmm.
Every year, like I write down what their value is. And so it's intriguing to me too to see the history of like, oh, that's interesting. It was worth the same last year. Or, oh, that's interesting. They actually went up 20,000.
Mm.
So I find it very intriguing to see what year over year is doing. And I think it helps you while you're talking to people and they're going to say, what's the market doing? Well,
You
you're
can
comping out properties on a daily basis. Like you're watching what the market's
right,
doing,
right. Yeah.
watching your inventory levels.
Yeah. Is that an to make those calls to the anniversary contacts? Is that a system that's got ticklers like basically saying these are the people this month or this is the person
Yeah,
today or
in my spreadsheet.
it's your handy dandy spreadsheet.
My spreadsheet for
Fantastic.
July, yes. And so I don't
Yeah.
call them, but I send them letters. Yeah.
Okay. You don't call them though. All right.
I
All
don't
right.
call.
All right. Good enough. All right. So on the advice side, show up. But when you say show up, you mean show up and roll up the sleeves and get to work. And those were some great pointers there about getting to work. So good stuff. I love it. Fantastic. Let's get to the last part. You were talking about, I love to get a crazy story, a crazy real estate story. And I, always preface it, real estate can look so glamorous and our headshots and all of our marketing and our logos and everything looks so amazing. But in reality, real estate can be quite interesting and there can be some crazy deals that go on. And you were trying to explain to me one deal that you didn't. I'll be honest, I was having trouble wrapping my head around it. So what was this deal? And because I think there's a learning experience or we'll learn something from this one. So give it to me again.
So I had a gentleman that was conserved. So what that means is that he all his finances are taken care of by somebody else. So he does not have control over his own finances, right? He is conserved.
So he's conserved.
Mhm.
So everything about him is controlled by a conservator.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay. In this scenario, was the conservator a person that you were dealing with? Is
Yes.
that who? So you were dealing with this other person to help this person who was
Oh,
conserved.
multiple people, yeah. And so his sister and her best friend um would go out house hunting with me. And so every house we would have to measure the hallways, measure the doorways, make sure his wheelchair could, fit through. He'd gotten in a horrible accident where his truck tipped over off a bridge. And so he couldn't walk anymore. He also couldn't talk very well.
Hmm.
Um, Sweetest guy though, like there's obviously brain function there, but very sweet man. And this is something he wanted to do. He wanted to buy a house. And so we ended up adding him to the friend's credit card as a user so we could build him a FICO score. Then I had to fight with the attorney. So when you do conservatorships, it's not just an attorney for the conserved, but also for the conservatee. They both have their own
Oh,
attorney.
no kidding.
Yeah, that represent them because they want to make sure the conservator is doing what's in best interest of the conservatee, and then the conservatee's attorney wants to make sure that that conservator is doing their job, right? And so you have multiple attorneys. So I was dealing with about 4 attorneys, and so I actually had to do spreadsheets. of what the payments would be, VA, 5% down, 10% down, 15% down, right? 20% down. What the expectation was of how much equity he would grow in the house over the next 5 years, 10 years.
You got to be kidding me.
No, because we had to sell this idea that this was a good idea for him to put his money into this, right?
To the conservator?
That the conservatee could buy a house with his money.
So was the conservator a relative of?
No, she was court appointed.
Court appointed. Okay, so now okay, and I'm starting to get it. So something happened to where now we have a court appointed conservator to protect this conservatee who wanted to buy a home, and so now you had to basically, pitch the deal to these people to say, this is a good idea. Here's what we're looking at, to make sure, because they wanted to make sure he was protected in this endeavor of buying a home. Wow. What, and you found out, how about the lending process? Because you said VA loans, you said there's loans involved. Did you find a loan company that's going to lend to who are they lending to? The conservatee or the conservator, or what the heck was going on?
Right. So it's actually in his name. And then also the conservator is mentioned on title. So
no kidding.
It's the first lender would not do it. They said it was too much risk, even though, he had a very large settlement from when he got in his accident. We had built his FICO up. We had proof from the attorneys that he had funds and he received a monthly allowance. They said, no, not going to do this loan. So I took it to another lender and they did it. They found a way to do it. And again, our contracts are not set up for that. So there is no representative capacity for a conservatee. You can do it for a conservatee.
So the car contracts don't fit.
No.
How'd you get around that?
I just got creative. I just filled it out and did like under other, and just
found your ways with addendums and clarifications and all that. So you got it done.
I got it done. And he did purchase a home, and he couldn't speak that well, but he was so proud. He was so proud that he was able to purchase a home for his family and that he would have something to leave behind to them,
Wow.
And so, I was very honored. I was very honored to help him. Yeah.
This is interesting because this is the second story you've shared on this podcast where you're kind of going a little further than most people might go, and reaping the benefits of it, and not you're doing it for benefits, but you're just that person, aren't you?
Well, I'm learning too, right?
Yeah.
So I think that if you're just a real estate agent, you're just selling, like, you can become very monotonous, right? But I feel like you have to always stay fluid. You always have to be learning. You always have to try new things. I mean, I know agents that will turn away deals because they don't know how to do it. And I'm like, let me try, teach me how to do it. I think that's what makes this job interesting. I mean, I know agents that were unwilling to do short sales, unwilling to do bank owned, unwilling to do mobile homes, right? And so, yeah, probates are different. But now I feel like I'm pretty good at them, but it was scary at first, but I feel like I want to figure out how to do that. I want to know how to do that. So that way, if somebody else comes to me, I can say, I know how to do that. Let me tell you how to do it. So, I mean, even before our contracts were made to have two different companies on there, I co-listed with another company, and they were saying, you can't do that. Well, I did it. I've done it twice now.
All right, let's move along and get to the end here. This has been great. Thanks so much for doing this. This has been a really good episode here. So we always like to have the call to action at the end. If someone's watching this, and I know you said you're always open to, if someone wants to be part of the team per se, or of course, if you just got a referral for Bethany in the Modesto area, you're watching this, you're in LA, you got somebody in the Modesto area, obviously Bethany will take on just about anything, apparently. So no matter what the deal is, you can get it to her. But if you are looking to maybe, learn and you want to be a part of the team, you can reach out to Bethany. And the number is 209-505-2758. I got that right, Bethany?
Thank you.
Okay, 209-505-2758. And you're more than likely seeing this on YouTube. So in the description down below, you should see her contact information there. But well, great stuff, and congratulations on your success. I'm gonna have to give you another cheer for all of that. Really good stuff. It sure feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
You gotta admit it. Yeah, it feels good. So yeah, I just got to give you that, and congratulations on everything. Thanks for doing the podcast. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for choosing me.
Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, but don't go anywhere. So, for everybody watching, hey, thanks for tuning in to the Behind the Agents podcast. Do us a favor, just subscribe, forward, share, like, whatever, all that junk. And that's it. We'll be back here next time. So, we'll catch you guys later. See you later. Bye bye.